Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. That was a wonderful duet. And the words were awesome, weren't they? And from all the songs that we've been singing this morning, can you kind of get the theme? Oneness, and as we all work together, we can create that oneness. And it's a wonderful time that we live in now, and we're all getting that opportunity to really make some progress, but we have to pay attention. Heaven and earth is one. Don't you just love the law of one? We're all one. When one is helped, all are helped. To really get into that energy is the energy for transformation. How about the line where it says, we are one with the masters, saints, prophets, and one with the Christ? When you speak those words, what does that feel like? We're to begin to truly own those words. Maybe not from our head, but from our heart. Because that's how we really know, is in our heart. So when we speak that prayer, and it's our prayer, and it's a prayer for now, to really listen to the words in our heart, to speak those words from our heart, and then we will know that oneness of one another. Our Father, who is in heaven, holy is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Heaven and earth is one. Can we go there? How many people believe that heaven and earth is one? We can look at our world, and we can probably get a lot of arguments. This sure doesn't look like heaven to me. I think we got some work to do. Heaven and earth is one. So whether we believe that or not, it's up to us. Because as we believe, we create. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Our Father, Mother, God within, the force of God, the wisdom of God, as we allow that to reign supreme within our hearts, within our bodies, within our consciousness, then that's what will be reflected out into the consciousness of earth. Allowing that God consciousness to fully house within our temple, within our vehicle, and then through our thoughts and our words and our actions, allow that energy to radiate out into the world. And that's what really ushers in that heavenly state of being. So heaven and earth is one. When I am in a heavenly consciousness, then heaven and earth is one. When I am in a heavenly consciousness, then heaven and earth is one. Beginning to understand how important the part we play in the creation of our own unique little worlds and in the creation of our world. We are one. So it has to do with consciousness. I want to read some chapter 33, part of chapter 33, and it's the Aquarian Gospel. And Jesus is in India. And he's about 16 years old right now. In silent meditation, Jesus sat beside a flowing spring. It was a holy day, and many people of the servant caste were near the place. And Jesus saw the heart-drawn lines of toil on every brow and in every hand. There was no look of joy in any face. Not one of all the group could think of anything but toil. And Jesus spoke to one and said, "Why are you all so sad? Have you no happiness in life?" The man replied, "We scarcely know the meaning of that word. We toil to live and hope for nothing else but toil. And bless the day when we can cease our toil and lay us down in rest in Buddha's city of the dead." And Jesus' heart was stirred with pity and with love for these poor toilers. And he said, "Toil should not make a person sad. Men should be happiest when they toil. When hope and love are back of toil, then all of life is filled with joy and peace. And this is heaven. Do you not know that such a heaven is for you?" The man replied, "Of heaven we've heard, but then it is so far away, and we must live so many lives before we reach that place." And Jesus said, "My brother man, your thoughts are wrong. Your heaven is not far away. It's not a place of metes and bounds. It's not a country to be reached. It's a state of mind. God never made a heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators, and we make our own. Now cease to seek for heaven in the sky. Just open up the windows of your hearts, and like a flood of light, a heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. Then toil will be no cruel task." When Jesus was in India, he, I would say, was somewhat disturbed by that caste system, because he knew that God was all of our fathers, and he wanted us to begin to treat each other like brothers and sisters. So when he talked to these workers, this lower class caste, and told them that their work, their life, their toil was their karma, and that as they began to turn within to God, to open up to the strength of God, the wisdom of God, the love of God, and allow that to flow through their lives in their manifestation, their lives would change. Jesus didn't take them out of the situation or the circumstances that they created, but he gave them a path to navigate through their life. How many times have we heard White Eagle say, "Rejoice in your karma"? And those are really cool words until we're walking through some heavy-duty karma. And we don't feel like rejoicing. But a lot of times, when we're in that state of consciousness, when we don't really understand that we're walking through karma or experiences that we've created, we put that power outside of ourselves. We give it to the world or another person. When if we turn within, and this is the teachings of Jesus Christ, as we turn within and open up the windows of our hearts, then we can begin to access that love, that light, that wisdom, that strength that's within us all. See, as we are the children of God, we have access to those qualities of God to manifest in our life. You know, don't you think those people would be a good definition of tortured souls? When toil was all they looked for, they didn't have room to look for anything else. I was reading that, and I goes, wow, that is a really good definition for a tortured soul. Has anyone here ever felt that they were a tortured soul? Sometimes we feel we're tortured, and we're suffering, but we don't really understand that we're getting what we asked for, what we've created for our soul, for our soul's growth. And so a lot of us, and the world, we all know how much the world's changing now, but a lot of us, you know, what we do and have been taught to do was to put on a mask and then try to integrate into the world. And then to do what the world asks us to do, and to look like what the world asks us to look like, and to be what the world would have us be. And so most people are walking around tortured souls, because in their heart, they're really not following that inner guidance. They're really not following their dream. They're not following their passion. And so then the energy that they're expressing is less than loving and usually not joy-filled or happy. See, as we open up the windows of our heart to allow that joy to flow through us, that happiness to flow through us, that peace to flow into our world so that we can experience that. So when we put on that mask or that suit or that outfit to integrate into the world, which we don't really resonate with, aren't we creating hell? Aren't we creating our personal little hells? Can you see how what Jesus said? We're the creators. It's what he told them. You're thinking wrong. You're thinking wrong. Change the way you're thinking. And you can have a different experience right where you're standing. Right where you're standing. Has anyone here known a person for a real long time and then one day say, well, gosh, I didn't really know that about you. And it may have been because they never really shared it, and it may have been because we had looked at them as a little box. That's how you're supposed to act, and that's who you are. I know your history. We're eternal. We got a big history. We got one little point radiating out a little bit of light. So, to begin to maybe look at the way that we're thinking. Maybe looking at when we hear that statement, we are all one, when one is healed, all are healed, when one is harmed, all are harmed. Really think about that. Change the way we think about it. Like we're all brothers and sisters right here, but the other side of the planet's are brothers and sisters too. And they may be starving to death. They may be in war. Or they may be laying on the beach, getting a suntan. But they're our brothers and sisters. See, we are one. To begin to take that to heart, because that's what's going to allow that heavenly consciousness to grow within us. And as it grows within us, it begins to radiate out into the world, into our world. The transformation begins. Jesus ran out of India because he was rocking their boat. Just by that simple act of talking with that working class. See, he was only supposed to talk to the priests, the higher class. See, it was against the law to talk to them. So he left the temple and said, I'm going to go with my brothers and sisters, the farmers and the toilers. And I'll teach them. I'll work with them. And then they plotted against him. See, they wanted to kill him. See, it begins down the road. And so in the night, a friend of his got him out of town, got him out of the country, because they wanted to assassinate him back then because he was rocking their boat of their religion, their philosophy, their way of life, which was maybe 10,000 years old. And that's great, but I think we're evolving. And we can always take from where we're at and evolve from there. Because that's the law of the universe, expansion and growth. To not be bound by the past. And the past binds many of us. And so to begin to look at the thoughts and beliefs that we're holding from our past that limit our expression as spirit, as children of God, allowing that to go out into the world, and that might limit us from recognizing our brothers and sisters as children of God, as spiritual beings. Jesus ran out of India because he said that we are all the children of God and that we are all equal in the eyes of God. That we're all equal in the eyes of God. Don't we have the eyes of God? See, don't we have the eyes of God? So, if we look with the eyes of God at the world and judge it as less than or separate from ourselves? Do you see how we're missing the mark? Do you see how we're creating limitation in our expansion and the expansion of the world? We're being asked to change. We're being asked to change the way that we think. And then as we change that, we begin to change the way that we act and the way that we allow others to act. So to first begin to look at what we have within ourselves that limits our expression, our expansion in spirit. Spiritualization of matter. Spiritualization of matter. What within me is limiting me? What within me is blocking me? You know, this is the temple. We bring the light through. We bring the light of Christ through. We bring the love of God into this temple to cleanse the temple. That higher vibration of love moves through and begins to quicken our vibration and move out the faulty, the lower vibrational frequencies. We cleanse the temple. We cleanse the temple. In Bethlehem, the inn was full. There wasn't room for the Christ. You see? We don't have room for the Christ. I'm filled up. I got enough belief systems to do my life in. I don't have room for the Christ. We're being asked to make room for the Christ more than ever right now. We have shifted. We are here to usher in, usher in that heaven on earth consciousness. And it begins with each one of us. And that simple taking stock of, what do I believe? Say, what do you believe? You think, well, what do you believe? Everybody goes, what do I believe? You know? And then you look at your life, and then you can say, how's that working for you? And some things may be working for us, and some things may not be working for us. But if we don't ever look, we won't ever know. Because we've created a bunch of habits that just keep us, for the most part, toiling in our own sphere of consciousness. No. So as we begin to understand the opportunities that we have in our life, whatever we're doing, we can apply that phrase, work is worship.